Hello, residents of Thunder Bay and my colleagues on City Council. I would like to begin by acknowledging that the City of Thunder Bay has been built on the traditional territory of Fort William First Nation, signatory to the Robinson-Superior Treaty of 1850. I'd also like to recognize the contributions made to our community by the Métis people. 2020 was to be a year of excitement and celebration for the City of Thunder Bay. Our 50th anniversary, celebrating the amalgamation of the twin cities of Port Arthur and Fort William, began with a large kickoff event at the Thunder Bay Armory. Our community welcomed Lieutenant Governor the Honourable Elizabeth Dowdeswell to help begin what was to be 12 months of festivities and ceremony. Unfortunately, within a matter of weeks, our city would be faced with the greatest challenge it had seen in generations. The COVID-19 pandemic was taking hold of the planet, and all orders of government would be faced with making significant and consequential decisions on behalf of their constituencies. The pandemic has created two very difficult challenges: a health crisis and an economic crisis. With north of 80 million cases worldwide and approaching 2 million deaths, COVID-19 has taken a tremendous toll in spite of significant health measures, including masking, physical distancing, and travel restrictions being put in place. As a result, it placed frontline workers that continue to deliver the services we need and rely on at additional risk. And so today, on behalf of my colleagues on City Council, I offer my sincere thanks, gratitude, and appreciation to our healthcare workers, first responders, and all the frontline workers in pharmacies, grocery outlets, restaurants, and others that deliver essential services, including city workers that continue to provide the work that our community relies on. I also want to thank the people of Thunder Bay who have bought in and believed in the importance of following public health guidelines. Most importantly, I'd like to offer my sincere condolences to those families who have lost a loved one to COVID-19. As governments around the world have been forced to shut down businesses and services to curtail the spread of the virus, an economic crisis has been created, including within our business community here in Thunder Bay. It is more important than ever that as a community we continue to support our local businesses as best we are able. They are the risk takers, investing their own money, creating employment, keeping profits local, and supporting individuals, clubs, teams, and supporting community events at every turn. Changes passed unanimously by City Council in June gave businesses greater flexibility in using private and public space for outdoor dining patios and retail displays, recognizing the need for greater distancing. The city also allowed business associations to apply for seasonal street closures, replacing some traffic and parking lanes with dining, shopping, and walking space. The city, through a partnership with the Thunder Bay Economic Development Commission, funded the Community Improvement Plan in 2020 and has extended it into 2021 with some new programs designed to encourage uptake by businesses. Early on in the pandemic, Council deferred property taxes and offered free parking. In addition to impacting people financially, the pandemic has had a significant emotional and social impact as well. We have provided support to organizations doing this critical work during the pandemic through our Community Youth and Cultural Fund. Annually, it provides $2.7 million, with an additional $230,000 added this year because of the pandemic. In 2020, this fund supported a variety of organizations who support some of our most vulnerable citizens, including Shelter House, the Regional Food Distribution Association, Roots to Harvest, the Lakehead Social Planning Council, and Evergreen, a United Neighborhood. Council also supported the purchase of $75,000 in masks to distribute to those who may not have the financial means to purchase masks and other specific target populations. Many of the masks have been distributed to users of our city transit system, serving the dual purpose of protecting the ridership as well as our transit operators who are on the front lines delivering an important and essential service for our community. Corporately, the City of Thunder Bay has, like all municipal governments, faced a fiscal pressure as a result of COVID-19. This has created some anxiety in the community. In early 2020, we were first projecting a $12 million operating deficit, then adjusted downward to approximately $6 million. As expected, federal and provincial stimulus money was announced in July, and coupled with decisions taken by Council, the city ended 2020 with an operating surplus of $4.2 million. While the city has a projected $8.8 million operating deficit for 2021, we have taken steps and prepared to ensure we can manage this situation on behalf of taxpayers. First, through resolution, we directed administration to bring in a starting 2021 budget of 2% for council deliberation. Council will determine the final number. Second, and importantly through resolution, we directed that surplus 2020 funds and the Stabilization Reserve Fund with $12.3 million could not be used to achieve the 2% starting budget point for 2021. That means that Council will have approximately $16.5 million to manage the projected $9 million operating deficit for 2021. This does not include any further federal provincial assistance that might materialize, and positions Council well as we begin our 2021 budget deliberations to mitigate any significant tax increase related to COVID-19 or otherwise on the taxpayers of Thunder Bay. The fundamentals of our economy remain solid. We have a far more diversified economy than we did a decade ago. In the biomedical sector, the Thunder Bay Regional Hospital continues to do tremendous work providing support to the entire region. We have seen a growth and evolution of services delivered by the hospital. With angioplasty some 12 years ago came 50 high-paying jobs, and it's anticipated that the new cardiovascular surgery program approved by the province 5 years ago will create approximately 80 more high-paying jobs. The Lake Superior Centre for Regenerative Medicine is another organization moving exciting opportunities forward that are anticipated to bring added growth to the sector. A law school, a medical school, and regional research institute, as well as expanded research and growth at Lakehead University, Confederation College, and St. Joseph's Care Group, having programs and services in addictions and mental health, rehabilitative care, and seniors health across multiple sites, have also helped us grow the number of knowledge-based, recession-proof jobs in the city. I also want to highlight the important fact that Lakehead University and Confederation College attract approximately 3,000 international students a year to our city. Last year, the city became part of the Rural Northern Immigration Pilot Project, a program designed to expedite the immigration process where there is a job available for the immigrant. Through this federal project, led by the Thunder Bay Economic Development Commission, the city has processed 70 nominees to date. Lakehead University and Confederation College are key sources of skilled immigrants that will be eligible for this project. The university and college, along with the hospital and our other key institutions, provide us with the tools to sell our city to developers, as well as to keep and attract people. In addition to the strong foundation supplied by our public institutions and emerging knowledge-based opportunities, forestry, mining, and energy remain strong employers with growth on the horizon. There are a number of active mines in the region whose workforce employ many people from our city. Many of our local businesses hold a key place in the supply chains of these mines, and their impact on our local economy is substantial. There also appears to be promising opportunities for Heddle Marine, owners of the former Port Arthur shipbuilding site. I also remain hopeful for the future of our Bombardier plant. A great deal of advocacy with the provincial and federal government has taken place to reinforce the importance of this plant not only for Thunder Bay's economy, but for the provincial economy as well. Also, recent developments in the energy sector include the startup of construction on the East-West Tie. This project, when complete, will be a boost to future economic growth in the region. There has also been tremendous developments in the agri-food sector, creating opportunities in agriculture, as well as value-added producers using local products. As well, many local restaurants that have opened in the past few years have given Thunder Bay national recognition as a leader in the culinary sector with a reputation across the province and the country for culinary excellence. We are positioned to see increased growth in this sector under the leadership of the Thunder Bay and Area Food Strategy, the Lakehead University Agricultural Research Station, the Ministry of Agriculture, and the Thunder Bay Economic Development Commission. I also believe we have a unique list of assets to attract investors, visitors, and people looking for a place to live. We have the foundation of institutions that I mentioned, but we also have many amenities that are only found in larger centers, including a world-class community auditorium, a symphony orchestra, theatrical companies, and other artistic and cultural organizations. Very few can combine these amenities with the access our city provides to outdoor recreational activities, natural scenic beauty, quality of life, and affordability. We are a city of great diversity, and we must do all we can to ensure that it's through our diversity we continue to find our strengths and our opportunities. The city recently approved an Indigenous Relations and Inclusion Strategy for the period 2020 to 2023. The creation of this strategy was led by the city's Manager of Indigenous Relations and Inclusion, with input from the Elders Advisory Council and other stakeholders. The vision Mamaway, altogether, as articulated in the strategy, aligns with the City of Thunder Bay's 2019 to 2022 strategic plan's theme, One City, Growing Together. This blending of visions is one way the city has been working diligently to fulfill its commitment to continue improving relations with First Nation, Métis, and Inuit peoples living in or visiting Thunder Bay. The city has done a lot of work beginning several years ago to combat racism and promote inclusion, but the work must continue. I am a firm believer that education is the best way to do that. I'm pleased with the City of Thunder Bay's requirement that every staff member in the corporation will receive Indigenous and cultural awareness and relations training. Our diversity has always been and should continue to be our greatest strength. Like many smaller, more rural communities in Canada, we have challenges related to population growth and the resulting labor market shortages. We do have opportunities in front of us with a growing Indigenous population and the ability to attract immigrants through the Rural Immigration Pilot Project. We have a good relationship with Chief Peter Collins and the people of Fort William First Nation. Chief Collins and his council, along with our City Council, are very interested in partnering to create economic opportunities for both communities, as well as working together to make both communities healthier and safer. We will continue to work together to build a stronger economy for both communities, while at the same time providing our citizens with the opportunity to meet their full potential. We continue to work as a council at fighting crime. The Thunder Bay Police Services was able to add 6 additional officers in 2020. The city, through its Crime Prevention Council and Drug Strategy Committee, leads important work targeting the root causes of crime and coordinating resources. Last March, after meeting with the Associate Minister of Mental Health and Addictions, I approached the network of providers in the area of mental health and addictions and asked them to provide a proposal for what they considered the most critical need in our community. They have provided the city with a proposal for a mental health and addictions crisis center, and we are hopeful that we will secure funding at some point for this project. As a council, we know our children and youth are our most precious resource, and we are proud of the work the city supports through programs like the Community Youth and Cultural Fund, as well as the programming delivered through the city's Recreation and Culture Division. Many of the programs delivered are free of charge, including the Neighborhood Recreation Program, Youth Move, a variety of programs delivered at the complex, as well as playground programs in the summer at local parks. And I'd also like to highlight the Pro Kids program run by the city. Pro Kids is a program that provides recreational opportunities to children and youth who otherwise would not be able to participate due to financial barriers. In 2019, Pro Kids placed approximately 1,500 children and youth in activities. I want to thank all the donors, Pro Kids volunteers, and partner organizations whose contributions make such a positive difference in the lives of so many of our young people. As a council, we are setting priorities and making choices while maintaining reasonable tax increases. Under this term, the last 2 years of budget deliberations saw tax levy increases after growth of 1.89% in 2020 and 1.98% in 2019. Some of these priorities include the greenhouses at the conservatory, the beginning of the process that will eventually lead to the demolition of Victoriaville, a new multi-sport facility, and the potential completion of a section of the waterfront trail. And I am hopeful that Council will find the resources necessary to renew the main building of the conservatory. To my colleagues on City Council, thank you for your hard work, commitment, and dedication towards building a healthy, prosperous, fair, and inclusive community. I'd also like to thank City Administration and staff, led by City Manager Norm Gale, for all you have done to navigate and support us through this pandemic. The work you do is important in bettering the quality of life for all those living in our community. I want to conclude this address by again thanking the citizens of Thunder Bay. It is because of who you are that I am most optimistic. There are so many highlights, but I want to conclude by sharing two from this past year that I feel speak to why we can be proud of our community. The first highlight was attending the 2020 Winter National Special Olympics that were held in Thunder Bay. At every event I attended, the athletes, coaches, parents, and officials went out of their way to tell me how well they were treated and how well the games were organized. I want to thank event organizers, as well as the many volunteers for delivering a tremendously successful games. I want also to thank them and the members of the public, including our hospitality sector and retail employees, for the tremendous hospitality and respect that was on display for our visitors. The other highlight was the way the Christmas Cheer Fund more than doubled their fundraising goal this Christmas during the pandemic. To me, this exemplifies the generosity and compassion that exist in our city. Thank you to the dedicated volunteers involved, as well as all of the donors. These are only two of so many successful initiatives. Thunder Bay, you are a city where the level of volunteerism and support for those less fortunate is something we should all be proud of. I remain hopeful that as we move through the spring of 2021, we will find ourselves in a better place with respect to the virus. But in the meantime, we must remain vigilant. The pandemic has reinforced with us just how dependent we are on each other. And I think that may be the most important lesson we all learn from this crisis. Thank you, everyone, for all you do to make our city a better place in which to live. And I want to wish everyone a healthy and a happy new year. Thank you.